He is our social worker, our resident social worker. He's your social worker. He's everybody's social worker. He's Gary Tierenfeld, and he's back with us. Good Sunday morning, Gary. Happy Father's Day to you.
Happy Father's Day.
You know what? Isn't that wonderful that it is Father's Day and we get to chat and have a great morning together?
Yeah, it sure is. It sure is. And I know that you and I are both infinitely fortunate as fathers. And we were talking earlier in the program to Scott Radley, and he was saying Happy Father's Day to me, and we talked a little bit about how parenting is a full-time job, of course, and it's often challenging, but it comes with huge rewards as well. And that's I guess that's why we do it, because we are rewarded throughout our entire lives with.
That's right. I've told my son, as I've treated you in childhood, I expect payback in my old age. So we, that's the reward we're after.
Right. So he's not going to put you in a nice nursing home then.
I was just going to say, Jamie, you are so in trouble.
I know. I'm going to be living in an alley somewhere. Anyway. Gary, the topic today is another interesting one as the school year winds down here. Mm-hmm. The question is, do you go out of your way and reward your child for good grades at the end of the year in some material form? What does the experts say about that?
Well, we want to caution parents about being reward crazy. The truth of the matter is we should have expectations on our kids for normal behavior. And you know what? Doing well at school, or at least putting in the effort to do well at school, is one of those things that we don't necessarily have to reward, we have to expect. So if there is going to be a reward, it's because we put in some extraordinary effort to come up with something that would have otherwise been beyond us. And I always caution parents, my goodness, don't be buying your kid a new car as that fantastic reward. Welcome to real life. When you and I do well at work, Jamie, Rebecca, no one's giving us a car.
Yeah.
We're getting a pat on the back, maybe a lunch out with a boss. The rewards that we choose must be reasonable to the circumstances and not so crazy over the top.
So, okay, when I was a kid, I remember getting a bike one year. I remember getting a ball glove, because it was sort of the tee off to summer too, right? Or it is for the kids. Do you think that was over the top? I never got a car. Never got a car.
It's a good question.
Again, parents have to choose. We're all living within our own means. And again, that reward must be appropriate to the circumstance. That ball sounds reasonable. That bike sounds, that was kind of extra special.
Yeah.
And maybe there was something extra special that you had done that you're just not quite recalling, Rebecca.
I doubt it, Gary. I was not an exceptional student.
You were just wonderful by being you.
I don't know.
So buying a gift for our son or daughter, there's nothing unreasonable about that. The issue that I want to point out is when we put it in the context of a reward, if the reward is disproportionate to the efforts to what's really being earned, what we're actually doing is spoiling our children and giving them false expectations in their future life for what they have to produce relative to what they receive. And so that's what we want to avoid in this.
Yeah, the whole rewards thing and the gift-giving thing, that whole thing, I observe nowadays that there are no special occasions hardly anymore because every
Christmas
day is made to be a special occasion for a lot of kids. They're getting gifts all the time for really no reason at all other than people have some money to spend and they're willing to be generous, and I get all of that. That's nice.
Yep.
But I actually feel uncomfortable as a parent with the amount of gift giving that goes on with kids, because I do want my kids to value things. I don't want them to
value what they receive, and if we overdo it, they don't value it. There are parents out there who have set up these big reward scenarios for their children who have difficulty at school. Parents have to understand that whatever the expectation they have on the child, it should be achievable. Sometimes I think if I make a big award, I can have this big expectation, but unfortunately the expectation may be unachievable, and the child says, why bother even working for it? I don't care how big the reward is. So parents, if you're in a situation where you're trying to encourage better performance out of your children, do it in smaller pieces, and then make the rewards smaller but more accessible to the child. So rather than the new car at the end of the year, if you bring home good marks tomorrow, you know what, I got a big hug and a kiss for you, and you get to eat a hot dog versus whatever else.
Right. Or how about, if we're still talking cars, this year if you do well, I'll give you a tire. Next year, another tire. I mean, you could really stretch that out.
You're ridiculous. You better start now then.
But you're right, Gary. I think the simple things are the things that actually mean the most to our kids. It's us as parents that screw up on that end of things by overdoing it. I think you're 100% right. I think, we did something simple as a family earlier this week. We finally found the time for the four of us to spend some actual time together, and it was a beautiful evening. So we went out, and
for a drive.
Yeah, my kids like it when I drive with the windows down, so the wind blows. Sorry,
they're ours.
Sorry,
it's okay.
They are. No, they're yours.
I carried them for 9 months.
They like driving around in the car with the windows down and the wind blowing, and listening to old Beatle music.
Yeah.
That's a favorite
What a
thing.
fantastic treat. And you're not just giving them a thing, you're giving them a memory.
Yeah.
And that will last forever.
And it's so simple. And and even I sit there sometimes, Gary, and think, how could anybody what's the big deal here? This is no big. But I have to remember that I'm, almost 50 years old, and I'm jaded. And we get jaded, and as we get older as adults, I think some of that is lost on us. But we have to remember that our kids haven't lived as long as we have, and we've got to remember, what it's like to be an 8-year-old, I guess is what I'm trying to say here.
Right, and our children can only value relationships if we give them a relationship to value. And so when you're looking for that reward at end of school, please do not let it be a cell phone. Please, please, do let it be your time, your attention, your activity. That signals to the child that they haven't been given a toy of value. That signals that the child is of value. Otherwise, why else would I give of my relationship and my time to be with you?
Makes sense. Gary, how do people get a hold of you?
Please come to my website, www.yoursocialworker.com. It's loaded with audio clips, video clips, and hundreds of articles, all geared to helping parents parent better.
We love having you on the program. We always learn, and we do appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Gary. All the best.
All the best, guys.
Take care.
Thanks, Gary. Happy Father's Day again.
You too.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Gary Dierenfeld, our social worker, and yoursocialworker.com.
So good.
He is.